Here's the exact setup we use to hit over a 2 ROAS consistently with our e-commerce brands. Now guys, this is going to be a quicker video. This is me just getting straight to the point and going over exactly what we're doing to hit such a high ROAS on our brands and how you guys could do the exact same thing too. See, everyone's obsessed with scaling. However, when you're scaling, your ROAS goes down. And a lot of the times it just means losing money faster. You see, a lot of people don't realize that when you're running an e-commerce brand, the more money you spend on ads, the more you increase your budgets, the lower your ROAS will go. It's a direct correlation to where, let's say you have an ad at a 3 ROAS and it's spending $50 a day. You take that ad to $5,000 a day, now you're at a 1 ROAS. So it's a direct effect to the more money you spend on your ads, the lower your ROAS will go, your return on ad spend. So it's really important that you guys optimize and do these certain frameworks I'm gonna get into this video so that you can always optimize for a consistent 2+ ROAS. Guys, I wouldn't be able to do these numbers I did in the last couple of years if it wasn't for following these frameworks. As you guys know, we've made over $30 million with e-commerce over the last couple of years, and it really has come down to simple strategies on keeping our ROAS high and fundamentals that a lot of people miss. This has worked across multiple different brands, multiple different products, and not even through my own portfolio, but student stores as well, and other people that have followed this exact framework. Not only our success is a contributing factor to why this stuff works, it's also the success of many other people as well. So again, guys, very quick video, gonna get right into what you guys need to do. First thing is creative strategy. You need to understand why your customers are buying the product and make your creatives around that. I've always told people that you are not the customer for most of the products you sell, and you need to make sure you speak to your customer in the language they understand. For example, and this is one of my favorite examples, a lot of people might look at hearing aid companies. There's a lot of them on Facebook. There's a lot of them that sell online. A lot of these hearing aid companies have really slow and ugly VSL ads, very big and bold text. It's very ugly and it isn't appealing. And if you go to their landing pages, for example, because we're going outside of creatives now, if you go to their landing pages, it's very bold, it's very like clinical, looks white and black. It's really ugly. To most people, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why do they have their landing pages like that? It doesn't look slick, it doesn't look hip, it doesn't look good. It's because the customers that are buying those type of products are used to those type of marketing materials, right? Like, for example, if you're someone in the market for a hearing aid, you're 60 plus, you're old, you need like a slow VSL. You need something that looks like a TV commercial back in the day. And especially when you click on the landing page, you need something that's big and bold text because your vision's probably not that good. You need bold text to be able to read it. I know it sounds so simple, but it's a great example of how when you're running your creatives, it needs to speak your customer's language. The more the customer can relate to the creative, whatever it be the person or the AI creator using the creative or the script or whatever it may be, the higher your return on ad spend will be. And the best way to do this is use Amazon reviews. Just by going to Amazon reviews and looking at reviews for products in your niche or even the exact product you're selling, you get so many insights on the specific things customers are looking for, and you can use that in your marketing material. For example, if you're looking at red light products, right? Let's say you're selling like a red light device. A big concern on Amazon with people asking like, hey, does this actually help with wrinkles? And for some reason, a lot of people that sell red light products online say this helps with acne. So for example, if you take the same product and your creatives are, this helps with acne and this is really good for acne, your ROAS won't be that high because a lot of the people that are buying the product are not looking at these type of products for acne. They're looking at it for wrinkles. If you simply took the same creative and you just switched it to talking about wrinkles, now your ROAS would be higher. And again, I know this is really common sense for a lot of people and it's really kind of like one of those duh kind of moments, but it's so damn important because if you speak your customer's language and you just take an extra 5 minutes to do a little bit of research on what your customer's language is, you will see a tremendous amount of more success. Something that falls under this is the actual problem and aggression that you target. So a lot of you guys know I always say sell insecurity backed products, and this video isn't about products, it's about, you know, kind of creative and whatnot. When it comes to the products you sell, there's always going to be insecurity, right? That's already a given. However, you need to outline the problem the customer is having and hammer it down. You need to be aggressive, right? So for example, if you're selling anti-wrinkle, and that's the example we're going to use for this video, you can't just say like, oh, this is going to help reduce your wrinkles. You got to be like, you are sagging right now and you're going to be sagging and it's only going to get worse and nothing else is going to help. You need to use this product on your wrinkles or else they will not go away. And this is the best product for your wrinkles. It's the cheapest out there and this will work. Like, you have to give and sell conviction. I know a lot of you guys might be on the fence sense in terms of how aggressive you can go, I'll tell you this. If you're doing under $10 million a year, it doesn't matter what you claim and say. You can claim whatever. Trust me, I've seen it. It doesn't really matter. Under $10 million a year, you're a small fish. So it's a direct, I've seen this in my own, portfolio in our own brands. The higher your aggression and the higher you pinpoint the problem and call out the customer, the more aggressive you are, the higher your ROAS. For example, on Meta, there's an actual rule, and the rule is you are not allowed to do a call out. And we've always seen on Meta that whenever they say don't do something, it's because they know it works so well, they want to stop people from doing it. However, like, you can always do whatever you want. Like, Meta is not going to ban everything. It's very wishy and washy. Sometimes they ban it, sometimes they don't. It doesn't really matter. But what I will tell you guys is this: they say no call outs, and that is a big reason why call outs work so well. So an example of a call out is what I was mentioning before, is like, let's say you're selling anti-wrinkle. Instead of just saying, this is the best anti-wrinkle product on the market, you need to say something along the lines of, if you're a mom in your 40s struggling with wrinkles, this is how you can unsag your life, or something like that, right? This is a random example I can think of. But if you are calling out the customers in your hook and you're amplifying the problem and you're just more aggressive with your creatives overall, you will see more success. Now, there's another thing that falls on the creatives is the output of creatives you do. So we've always seen, to keep your ROAS consistent, you need to consistently be throwing in new creatives. You always need to be progressively testing creatives, and anyone who's been following me for a while and watched any of my other videos, you guys know I am huge on creative output. So if you can progressively put up creatives every single day, you will progressively see success. You will not stay consistent in your ROAS if you don't consistently test creatives. This is just impossible, and it doesn't work. Whenever you see a creative work, test 10, 15, even 20 variations of that creative. Switch out the hook, switch out the body, switch out the CTA, dissect the creative. I'll give you guys an example. If a creative does well, you can do 3 hook swaps, you can do 3 body swaps, and you can do 3 CTA swaps. That meaning that you just swap it out with something else. The thing about a variation is, by definition, a variation is when you change one singular point of a creative. So if you just change the hook, that's a variation. If you change just the body, it's a variation. If you change the hook and the body, now that becomes a new creative. So just keep that in mind. But as one of the bigger things when it comes to testing creatives, you guys really want to make sure that you dial in not just the actual creative itself being like the angle and calling out the problem and all that stuff, but also the output of what you're doing. Make sure you test a high output, because Meta likes to see that. And as always, when it comes to creatives, I shouldn't have to mention this, but it's very easy. Test as many concepts as you can. Like I mentioned before, the progressive creative overload strategy is you're testing multiple concepts every day. You're throwing up new creatives every day. So if stuff isn't working, don't make variations of stuff that doesn't work. Keep throwing up new concepts, keep throwing up new things. Step 2 of having to hit a high ROAS is your offer. You need a good offer. A lot of people overlook how important your offer is, but offer is very goddamn important. Assuming you have a good product and you have a good creative system, offers are going to depict a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of basic offers out there. For example, if you're doing supplements or the type of products that we recommend, basic stuff is like buy one, get one free, buy 2, get 2 free, like that kind of structure. Or something along the lines like buy 1 or buy 2, get 1 free, buy 3, get 2 free. Examples like that are very simple. Now, one offer tip I can give you guys, and this is something that has dramatically increased our ROAS over time. It's something that we haven't been doing for a while. We started doing it this year and we saw tremendous results on it, is we noticed that a lot of customers for these type of products that we recommend you guys sell, a lot of times they don't select the latter options being like the third or second option. They usually always select the first option. So we said, we have better margin on the third and second option. Why don't we add some free gifts to these other options so more people select it? And Lord behold, it has done so well. So example of free gifts can be like ebooks or this or that, or like, for example, if we're selling a hair care product, on the third option, we will offer like a free scalp massager, a free this, a free that, and like nothing too crazy, just like some smaller gimmicky products that fit the bundle. And more people end up selecting these latter options and it ends up increasing your ROAS. We noticed that even if 1 in 5 customers select the latter option, it still dramatically increases our AOV and dramatically increases our ROAS, because the average order value amongst all customers goes up. So your offer needs to be dialed in, and the easiest way to do that is through some sort of free gifts, right? So free gifts on your ladder options. Make sure you have some upsells. We like to use one-click upsells, one of our favorite apps to set up upsells on our Shopify store. We use cart bundles as well. There's a million of them. If you just go to Shopify app and type in cart bundles, to see a lot of them. And it's that simple, right? You just have free gifts on your ladder options, you have a couple bundles and upsells, and you can call it a day. You don't want to stress too much about this stuff, but it's really stupid not to have it set up, because again, if you just have a couple free gifts on your ladder options, you will end up getting those higher AOV orders, which overall boosts your ROAS. And at the end of the day, if you guys end up spending more on ads, you're bringing more customers to your website. 1 in every 5 customers taking the ladder option makes a huge difference. And the only way for you not to break under scale is by having those AOV boosting techniques on your offer and website. The next one is consolidated campaigns. So I know I don't talk about media buying too much on this channel, but it's one thing I should mention in this video. If you're running ads on Meta or even TikTok, you want to have consolidated campaigns, meaning the less campaigns, the better. So a media buying structure we follow is we launch a CBO every time we test a new batch of creatives, but we have an winning scaling CBO that we never turn off. And whenever we find a winning batch, we duplicate it into that winning CBO and we bump the budget of that winning CBO. So by consolidating our scaling campaign to one, we found it to be easier to stay at a consistent high ROAS because we're not spamming the ad account. Especially post Andromeda update, which is a new meta update, it's way easier to consolidate your campaigns and have less campaigns because you will end up finding more success and more consistency. We noticed the less campaigns we have, the better. It's super simple. I'm not going to get super into that, but the less campaigns you have, the better. On top of that as well, we don't do any sort of bidding. We don't do any sort of targeting. We don't do anything like that because the less bidding, the less targeting, the less control you have and the more control you give to Meta, ultimately the more consistency you have. Like you guys might find if you do bidding or interest, like small success in the moment, maybe for a day or two, but it will quickly die. It is very short-lived because the ad account gets confused. We've noticed that if you just let Meta do its thing, you don't do too many campaigns, you consolidate your campaigns and you keep your targeting wide open, you'll find more success. The next one is reading soft metrics when the time comes. So I know this sounds kind of weird, but let me explain it. So when you're starting out, you just want to make sure you're optimizing for a high ROAS and a low CPA, right? You want your cost per purchase to be low and you want your return on ad spend to be high. Now, as you start to see success, a lot of people neglect the other metrics, like what is your CPM, CPC, CTR, AOV, all that stuff. So I'll give you guys a little bit of insight. When you're scaling, you should always know benchmark where those metrics fall. So for example, if your brand is spending, let's say 5K a day right now, and it's averaging a 2 ROAS, so you're doing well. 5K a day at 2 ROAS is pretty good. You should know, okay, at a 5K a day, 2 ROAS, we have a $60 AOV, and then we have a 4% click-through rate CTR. Now, let's say you see your CTR slowly going down by, 3%, 2%, maybe even 1%. Obviously, if your CTR goes down and your AOV stays the same, your ROAS will drop. You will start to lose money. So by monitoring your CTR, you can see, okay, if our CTR is dropping, but our AOV is staying the same, I know this might sound foreign to a lot of people, but if your CTR is dropping and your AOV is staying the same, that means you need better ads and you need to start focusing on making better ads, more aggressive ads that get the click through. Now, on the other side of that, if you see that your CTR is staying the same, but your AOV is dropping and your AOV is slowly going down and less people are taking the latter options, now you need to either increase your prices or come up with a new offer. By looking at these soft metrics and knowing where they should be benchmark wise, you can pinpoint where your funnel is lacking and improve that without, while not like running around like a headless chicken, right? Because I think a lot of people don't look at their soft metrics and then the funnel stops working and then they wonder what happened. They don't know what to improve, whereas they never looked at the benchmark of where their soft metrics were when they were scaling and used that as a pinpoint metric to see what isn't working and what is and what's improved and what to leave alone. The last thing is LTV in repeat purchases. Guys, it is a baseline rule of thumb, in fact, that your CACs will rise year over year, your ROAS will drop year over year, and you can do a lot of things to mitigate this and bring it down, but at the end of the day, it is a very common thing that happens in e-commerce to where if you're running the same product, you're running the same offer, you're running the same brand for a while, unless you innovate largely, stuff will drop over time, so you need to increase your LTV. Now, LTV being your lifetime value, it's very easy. Guys, if you listen to what we say inside of our other videos and even inside of our program, Brandify, you would know that we're huge on replenishment replenishable based products. And one of the easiest things to do under replenishable based products is subscriptions. By simply adding some sort of subscription or testing different subscription offers like sub and save 25%, or even like a Rise style. Like Rise does an auto opt-in where they just say like everybody is opted in, it's refill every 30 days, blah, 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 right? You can do Rise style, you can do sub and save, you can try all these different subscription based offers. Even though your ROAS is not the best, a lot of the people will retain as a subscriber, and even if your ads are not performing well, you still have revenue coming in. So the rule of thumb that overlies everything is having good retention, and just by adding a subscription to your website, you end up making more money. And I think this is a huge thing too, because a lot of the times you will see what we call in e-commerce parabolic scale, to where you launch a product, and let's say you do something like a seasonal sale, which we always recommend people, where, you know, whenever there's a Black Friday or there's a July 4th or some sort of holiday come up, you always want to launch a seasonal sale. And we talk a lot about that in other videos, but you will get parabolic scale. And what parabolic scale means is it goes up and it goes down, right? If you're catching MRR, meaning monthly recurring revenue, and you're acquiring subscribers and subscriptions throughout your parabolic scale, even the volatility doesn't kill the business, right? Because you are retaining subscribers, and those subscribers will pay you month over month, and a good portion of the subscribers will never churn, right? So you then start actually building recurring revenue. So even if your ROAS isn't high, you will still make money. And the good thing is as well, technically on ad platforms, ROAS also tracks retention. So for example, some of our brands right now, we are not running any ads, but we still make like 200 to 300K a month, and that's all recurring revenue. So our ROAS is like 10 plus, because obviously like the ad itself is counting recurring purchases. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for that recurring revenue and the subscription revenue, we would not be making money. And I wish more people talked about that, because it's such a huge factor, because if your product can support recurring revenue, it's dumb not to try it. And guys, there's a million other things that can help you increase your ROAS. Again, like ROAS is such a broad term, and it's inclusive of so many things that go under running your own e-commerce business. But in this video, I wanted to pinpoint more of the important ones that I focus on and that other top level operators focus on as well. As always, guys, if you want to learn how you can build, scale, and even sell your own e-com brand, have one-on-one support, have all our connections, see all the inside of our brands, and work very closely with us, we have Brandify, which is a program where you guys can do exactly that, alongside have a community of other killers and people doing really well. I show you guys my brands in there. You see all the other student brands as well. We have students doing over 100K a day in there. Absolutely crazy shit. So if you guys want access to Brandify, the link is in bio. If you guys are interested, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a quicker one. I just wanted to get straight to the point in this. And yeah, I hope I see you guys in the next video. Peace.